There's some clips going around of Tennessee State head coach, Heisman Trophy winner, NFL veteran Eddie George speaking about coaching at HBCUs and the situations and some of the trials and tribulations that he goes through coaching at an HBCU, but the things that he's doing to overcome them and the great things that come from them. Let's talk about it and what some other coaches, Ed Reed, could learn from listening to Coach Eddie George and a couple of tweets made by Jackson State women's basketball coach Tamika Reed. Let's talk about it after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here at JeffLightsYJr, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Now, as we all know, the Instagram lives of Ed Reed and his displeasure with the administration and everything that's going on Bethune-Cookman, they went viral. And so we're not here to talk about that. We've talked about that a couple of videos, but I do want to highlight some great things that were said by head coach of Tennessee State football, Eddie George. Now, Eddie George also comes from the same pedigree that an Ed Reed comes from. He went to Ohio State. He actually won a Heisman at Ohio State. He then was drafted in the first round of the NFL draft and played 9 years in the NFL with the Tennessee Titans. So he's played in the NFL. He also was a coach who never had any coaching experience. Hell, he even admits he never even wanted to coach before he got the job at Tennessee State. But he kind of explains why he took the job. And I want to play for you some clips from his interview with Grind City Media. So Eddie George was actually honored in Memphis over the MLK weekend. And he took a stop. He stopped by Grind City Media there in Memphis to talk with their co-hosts. One of them, it goes by the name of CJ Hurt and the other co-host. And he was talking about some of the things that has taken place at Tennessee State since he's been the head coach, some of the good and the bad. And I'm going to play for you. I'm going to preference my comments by saying this is, I mean, he lays it out perfectly. I really like the things that he had to say because it's not an easy job to go coaching at HBCU. It's not the most glamorous job to go coach at Tennessee State or Bethune-Cookman or Jackson State like Coach Tamika Reed. But Eddie George talks about his purpose, why he's there, why they would give the job to someone like him who doesn't have coaching experience, someone like him who does have a ton of connections, and someone like him, why someone like him would take the job. So here was Eddie's first comments when asked about different things taking place at Tennessee State. Let me go ahead and share my screen. This is fair use. This is all rights reserved to Grind City Media and their YouTube team. But let's take a listen to Coach Eddie George. I want to make sure this is playing from the right spot. Let's take a listen.
That's something that doesn't come around often. For someone to not have any coaching experience at all on any level, to be asked to be the leader of an HBCU and change a lot of the things that's going on, not just on the football field, but what's happening, away from it in terms of buildings being built and business being done correctly, and hopefully, getting funds that was due to the owed to the institution from 50 years prior. If I can
talk to me now, let's not skim over that. He says it quick, and we're going to run another clip where he really goes into depth of that. But he said, getting the money that is due to the university from over 50 years ago. Eddie George gets it. He gets it. He understood what he was walking into at Tennessee State. And he made no excuses about what's taking place or about the job that he accepted, that he decided to take on, this mission that he decided to take on. No excuses. Let's continue listening.
Be a part of that change and help it become sustainable and have it grow in a capacity where it's going to bring the dreams of young student athletes and students all over together, have it come to fruition. I wanted to be a part of that. So that,
and have it be sustainable. Sustainability is another big word that he used in that. He said, I don't want to just be the end all be all of Tennessee State football. I want to be a part of something that's sustainable and that will last well long after I am gone. Coach George is killing this, man. He's killing this interview. Let me go ahead and skip ahead to another part of the interview I want you all to hear. It said 27. Let me see if I can do that from right here. Let's take a listen.
Into when you get under the hood and you really see what's
let's
going
run it back.
That popped off. We've seen sometimes, and I'm thinking about Ed Reed in particular. That popped off.
It was
this
funny.
weekend.
I was just reading some of the comments from his Twitter, or his Twitter post yesterday. Where I think it was on Instagram Live.
Yep.
And it's frustrating. He didn't understand exactly what he was getting himself into. When you get under the hood and you really see what's going on, and you do see the mold in the apartments, you see the mold in the dorm rooms, you see the facilities, the locker room is not the best.
Quick question. He didn't know what he's getting himself into. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? That's not Bethune's fault, is it? Whose fault is that? Let's keep listening.
Not clean. It's all of those things. But guess what? That's why you're there. And I choose to do it through.
That's why you're there. Talk to me, Coach George. That's why you are there. Let's keep listening.
Action. I choose to do it through, hey, let me roll up my sleeves and get in front of these people, corporations, the president, the politicians, and say, basically, what are we doing here? Here it is, 2023, and it looks like, these buildings are still in the 1950s.
Listen to him take the ownership, lead from the front, go to the forefront for the school, for the university, for the football program. That's why you're there. That's why they brought you in. If they just want another regular football coach, they would have just went out and got another regular football coach. But they hired the Ed Reeds and the Eddie Georges and the Hugh Jacksons and the whoever else's because they want a sense of change. That is the people say, oh, why don't they ask for help? Or this is them going out and getting the help. This is what it's about. That's why they brought you in. Let's keep listening.
The same mold on it when I was there, because we actually, as the Tennessee Titans, we stayed on campus at Tennessee State in some of those dorm rooms. So it's not a place where you can take great pride in, because there's no plan to move it forward. If this is the problem, then what is the plan to make it better? My own son is going to Tennessee State University. So I've got to make this work. I must make this work.
Yeah.
I've got to see that change happen. So it's much bigger than just football. It's just providing a quality of life that these students absolutely deserve.
It's bigger than football. It's bigger than football. I mean, he said it right there. It's bigger than just football. And that's why when I say Eddie George gets it, Eddie George gets it. He understands what's going on. He understands. And if you don't believe me, he verifies that he understands what the hell is going on way more than most people by this next clip that I'm going to show, because he just gets it. And that's what Ed Reed needs to understand. This isn't just a football job. It isn't. Unfortunately, you can say, oh, it should be other people. We get that. But that's why they brought you in. Let's keep listening to Coach George.
In a pothole. So those are the things that we're dealing with there. And the bigger issue, the school is fighting, is the money that's owed to them from the land grant money that's been owed to them for the last 50 years. And that's something that can be a huge shot in the arm for our institution. And we have to be responsible enough to then take that money and put it toward infrastructure, put it toward new buildings, put it toward a robust endowment that can continue to build, to grow, and to set up other funds that's going to deal with the maintenance and the everyday use for our student athletes, and to bring in the talent and teachers where we're well staffed. So there's an opportunity there. Tennessee State has the bones to be a really, it's a great institution, but now it's time to go from good to great, to to eminence, to being exceptionally great with those opportunities, with those funds, and so forth. So that's what
Talk to me, man. Coach George, dog. He spoke the good gospel right there. And if you don't know anything about that land grant thing he was talking about, Tennessee State is owed over $500 million by the state of Tennessee of underfunding that has taken place over the history of its university. I mean, they're owed over $500 million, and it looks like they're steadily matriculating, getting that money back. They announced a $250 million renovation plan of building new buildings and renovating some buildings on the campus there in the city of Nashville. And so these are the things that, and I'm not here to just bash on Coach Ed Reed. I mean, but these are things he'll learn. He will learn. He will learn. Now, one thing I find interesting, too, is that in those videos that you heard him, he said, I'm not even under contract yet because blah, 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 and I'm having to deal with that. Well, part of the reason why Ed Reed, and this is an Ed Reed update if you don't know, part of the reason why Ed Reed isn't under contract is because he hasn't signed it. The contract's done. If you've noticed, Bethune hasn't said anything about Ed Reed. They haven't used his picture on anything. The only thing that Bethune-Cookman University has been able to do when it comes to Ed Reed is they put out that initial tweet that we broadcast here on JeffLightsyJr YouTube about they have him under principle for him to be the next head coach. And we've seen a couple of guys from Long Beach Poly out in California commit to Bethune-Cookman. But they haven't used his picture. They haven't used his likeness, used his name, anything like that. You know why? Because he hasn't signed the deal. Now, once he signs the contract, you'll start. He hasn't had a press conference. He hasn't had anything because he hasn't signed the deal. Now, whose fault is that? That ain't Bethune's fault that Ed Reed has decided as of now not to sign the contract. That's a whole different can of worms. That's very interesting, the fact that he hasn't signed a deal yet, but has made multiple posts. Now, he has apologized. I want to put that out there. He has apologized, but some folks feel, and I can agree with them, your apology should be as loud as your criticism. You criticized Bethune on 2 separate lives, yelling, screaming, cursing, whatever, but your apology was 1 paragraph, not yelling, screaming, or cussing. I think your apology should be as loud as your criticism. I am in agreement with that. Now, Coach Tamika Reed, who's the head coach of Jackson State women's basketball team, defending SWAC champions, very successful coach there at Jackson State. Coach Reed put this out. She said, coaching at an HBCU is not for the weak. You're going to fight battles internally and externally. And if your program experiences any type of success, it will be even harder. I choose to come back for the fight, to truly even the playing fields and do something that's never been done. She went on to say, you have to earn your stripes to speak publicly about this struggle. If you aren't willing to roll up your sleeves and make a difference and demand others to respect us, not by words, but by actions, then get out of the way. We've got some work to do. Our work here is bigger than us. Shout out to Coach Reed. Those are beautiful words spoken by her. And someone challenged her. Someone challenged Coach Reed. He said, Coach Reed, why does coaching at an HBCU have to be an exercise in sacrifice and accepting lesser than? No student should have to live in moldy dorms, not be able to have access to clean dining halls. No coach should have to have a filthy office. Why? It was a question by Mr. Maurice Arrington. And Coach Reed addressed it. She said, I can't speak on that. That's not my experience nor my struggle. I didn't accept a job that was a sacrifice or accept less than. I accepted an opportunity to put to stamp a place with already great winning tradition. With respect, if you don't see it, try not to speak on it. Come on. If you don't see it, try not to speak on it. Talk to me, Coach Reed. If you don't see it, meaning if they can't provide no receipts, if they can't tell you, if they can't really show you what the problem is, don't speak on it. As she shows off her beautiful office there at Jackson State University, because our office is damn sure clean. You feel me? She's letting you know my office is spickety span. You hear me? Real clean. And she got her feet up. And she had to let you know we win around here. You see all them nets, all them trophies. Shout out to Coach Reed, man. Shout out to Coach Reed. I really appreciate her doing that. And shout out to Coach Eddie George. Coach Eddie George set the record straight. He's like, yo, man, we're here to make a difference. You know, if they wanted to just hire But we're here to make a difference. They're giving us an opportunity, and we're here to make this thing better than what it is. We understand it's not where it's supposed to be. We understand that there's parts of the government that is purposely detrimented these institutions. But that's why we're here, to help change that, to help make that no more, to help fix what's going on when it comes to those type of things. And I appreciate and respect the hell out of him for saying that statement on that podcast, Grind City Media, and for going out there and doing the work. Shout out to Coach George. Shout out to Coach Tamika Reed. Also did the exact same thing in her version, just on Twitter. And shout out to Coach Ed Reed, man. I think he'll get it together. I would like for him to hurry up and sign the contract. That way we can have a press conference. We can hear from him, talk about other things besides these lives. So as soon as he signs the deal, we'll talk about actual football, and we'll try to get some of his players that have committed to play for him there at Bethune-Cookman, all the way from California, by the way. It's going to be all right, man. It's going to be all right. I think Coach Ed Reed this was a learning thing that he had to go through. He had to, bump his head one time, and he'll learn from this. And I think he'll still have the opportunity to have great success at Bethune-Cookman University. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave your thoughts in the chat and in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure. If you want to support the channel, become a member. But if not, just hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. It's real simple, real easy. It helps support the channel a ton. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.